everybody. Welcome to Rock and Roll Shin-Soo, episode number 35. My name is Gabe Estel. I'm here with my co-hosts Dennis Levi Leach and Jonathan Getz. How's it going, guys?
Fantastic.
Excellent. Glad to hear it. Well, first and foremost, Jonathan, congratulations to you and the pork-eating people of Kansas and Missouri.
You know, who would have thunk it a couple years ago when we started this podcast that I'd be the first one raising my triumphant fists to the air out of all of our three favorite teams.
Right.
You guys been building, man. You've been building for a little while.
Yeah, the groundwork was laid for this a few years ago.
Yeah, they've been building since 1991. And it's
Saberhagen left town.
Yeah, ever since the Saberhagen trade. It's pretty unreal. And you know, I speak as someone who's coming from a perspective of, you know, I just moved here 10 years ago, and you know, I just memorized the bullpen like 4 years ago, so it's like I haven't come as far as 98% of the fan base here in Kansas City, but it was still like really exciting, obviously, and pretty surreal how it all happened. You know, how they just kept coming from behind, and it was a really relentless team, and they kept winning games where they had a probability of only, you know, 3 or 4 or 5% at some point during the game to win, and they did it against, you know, the Mets' big three rotation, and yet it was just like manifest destiny at the same time. You know, last year when they lost in the series, I thought, wouldn't that be so remarkable if next year they just made it back and they just won it? Because it would be just as unlikely for as if they had made it to the World Series to begin with, for them to then to come back and then win it. And so it was really fitting in that sense. Even though they still had all these comeback wins, you know, last year, I think that, you know, the big wild card win against the A's is still, that win was the beginning of something that didn't end until this last weekend.
This week, yeah, right.
Yeah, so it was like a full year of that, and it's almost exhausting.
We talked about in spring, you know, a lot of people counted them out. Like, they made it to the World Series, and everybody thought it was a fluke. And in the spring, everybody was like, the Royals are a joke, or they're not going to do it again. And so I think that gave them kind of a chip on their shoulder that they needed to fight their way back to the World Series again.
Yeah. Had people predicting like they were going to win like 72 games or something.
Right.
Yeah.
And actually, you know, to their discredit, if you will, it was a lot of the, you know, the statisticians and sabermetrics teams that were saying this team shouldn't win more than, you know, 75, 78 games or whatever. I read a good piece, though, earlier this week about how, the Royals do go against a lot of the sabermetrics, but the sabermetrics need to learn something from them and understand, you know, how, like, the Royals were very much a Moneyball team still, because they exploited a gap, and that was to, you know, to get these high contact hitters that wouldn't strike out, and to emphasize defense, and that was an undervalued commodity in the market, and that's what Moneyball's all about. You know, Moneyball's not just always about drawing walks, which the Royals don't do, and hitting home runs, which they also don't.
They don't do,
you know, their top home run hitters hit 21, 22 home runs this year. But Moneyball's not just about those things. It's about just exploiting an undervalued aspect of the system. And that's what they did. And I think the sabermetrics will adapt to it and take a careful, more reevaluation of teams like the Royals moving forward.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Well put. It's... because like last year when they had what the outfit was like Kane, Aoki, and Gordon, right? That's kind of like a sabermetrics wet dream, that outfield at that time. Yeah, you know. But you're right though. The rest of it all just it defies some of the previous notions that have, you know, regarding what it takes for a team to win.
Right, especially because they didn't have like consistently overwhelming starting pitchers.
Right.
Like the A's would often have.
Mm-hmm. They are the first team to lose it and then come back and win it since the '89 A's.
Oh, really? Oh, wow. Yeah.
So,
yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Because the A's lost to
the Dodgers in '88.
And then they beat in '89 they beat the Giants, and then they lost to the Reds in '90.
Then they lost to the Reds in '90s. They went to 3 consecutive series.
Yeah, lost one and
with like the same core of guys, basically.
Yeah. So yeah, it was pretty crazy. You know, when the Royals, when they took the lead in the 12th, you know, they scored all those runs in the 12th. The fireworks in the neighborhood started going off.
Yeah,
and it was cool though. I mean, everybody was like well behaved. There were no arrests the night of the clinch. And take that, San Francisco. We know how to act, and we don't even have
God-fearing Midwesterners.
Yes,
right.
Yeah, honestly. And I emailed in for Tuesday off so that I could go to the parade that night, like at midnight.
You and 90% of the town.
Well, they ended up closing schools.
Right.
And, you know, pretty much the entire town shut down. And actually, our office closed practically and said anybody could go that wanted to go. So they were really cool like that. And so we decided, I was hemming and hawing about whether or not to go to the parade, depending on how many people were there. Look, I've been to too many festivals. I've never been to Bonnaroo because I can't handle those sizes of crowds.
Right.
And so I was on the fence about going to the parade. And I decided, well, we'll just walk down to the plaza and check out some of the swag at one of the sports shops down there. When we left our house at like 9:30, we live a few miles from the parade route. And we live at close to a 4-way stop. Our 4-way stop was blocked, was backed up for 3 blocks at 9:30 in the morning, and the parade didn't begin until noon, and the rally didn't begin until 2. And so we walked down to the plaza, and there's a shuttle. There was going to be shuttles around the city that took everybody into the downtown.
Right.
The line for the shuttle on the plaza was literally around what is essentially a 2-block block. And it was all the way around it. And so we're just like walking around down there, and I passed Trent Green, ex-quarterback for the Chiefs. He's walking with his family into Panera. Right. And
love these Red Bulls.
And so we go to Westport, and I thought, we'll go to this place called Char Bar and watch it. We'll watch the parade on a big screen there, and you know, have a couple drinks and some lunch, and we'll take it easy, thinking that there would be a lot of people there as well. Like we'll be part of that vibe. But there was nobody there because everybody went to the fucking parade. Like 800,000 people went to this parade. So
like larger than the size of Kansas.
The city.
Right. Yeah. Metro area is only 500,000. Greater Kansas City is 2 million. So nearly half of Kansas City. And so after a couple drinks, we're like, okay, we have the courage to go. We're gonna walk there. So we walk. It was about a 40-minute walk from where we were eating. And we just went to the rally, and it was cool, man, because there's a World War I memorial right there at the top of this hill that goes down toward toward where they were having the Union Station and the rally stage, and we were at the top of what was probably 500,000 people easy, and. Everybody's cool, man. Everybody's just chilling out. We couldn't hear shit back there when they finally started, but that was cool. We just wanted to be amongst the people,
right?
And just to be a part of it, and it was pretty neat. And then I came home and watched it on my DVR, so I could actually hear Johnny Gomes like spout his.
Oh yeah, he did like a
politically
Randy Watson, right?
Yeah,
right. He did a Randy Watson. He just was like
right? Yeah. So it was fun. It was a lot of fun, and it was a good vibe throughout the city. Everybody's pretty cool. It's really fun to be in a city when they win it. As you know, Gabe, you were in Chicago, right, when the White Sox won.
Right.
Did you go to that parade?
I did not, man. No, I had to teach the next morning, and which should be no excuse, but I watched it. But but no, not in person.
Yeah, but you still got to be around the vibe of
right.
Of winning,
yeah, I don't know, absolutely.
Which I bet is still different in that city because of the conflicting fan bases.
Well, right, and I live in Cubs territory.
Right.
You know, I live on the north side, so yeah, there was a bandwagon effect a little bit up here. Like all the bars were sporting Sox flags and things like that, which was fine. You know, it was good to see. I mean, it immediately died out like in 2006. You know, it was just back to the small handful.
As soon as they were 37 and 40 the next year.
Right, exactly. But we should have been better the following year as well. But anyway, that's another episode.
Like the Bears, yeah.
Yeah, right.
In 85 and 86.
Yeah. So yeah, but yeah, to be in a city when something like that goes down is really cool. It's easy to get swept up in that.
And I think it's one of the big advantages of Twitter or Instagram is to really soak in a lot of that. Just searching hashtags and seeing people celebrating and reading their reactions, and especially all the journalists' reactions, candid reactions. Mm-hmm. I think it's social media is really great for partaking in that. Even though when they clinched, I was at home, on the couch with my wife and a cat, and that was it. But still, it's fun.
That's
to
nice.
All that.
Yeah. What kind of swag have we acquired? Like, we have the locker room hat.
Look, I see you got behind you. You got the.
I have a towel that was gifted to me, an October towel. But I'm keeping my eyes peeled. I looked yesterday when I was driving around town. I stopped at a place. I'm looking for just the right koozie. And they didn't have just the right koozie, so I'm holding out maybe for us a second market koozie. So other than that, I might, if I find like a really tasteful T-shirt, I'll go for that as well.
World Series champ corn on the cob holders.
Dude, it's a shot. I saw shot glasses yesterday.
For sure.
Lots of.
Casey's putting back the Jaeger bombs in those.
Oh, you know it. But no, I'll be reporting back regularly throughout the winter on all of the swag I stumble upon.
Right.
There's probably a lot of the stuff that just says World Series on it. You know what I mean? Like, not that they won it. You know what I mean?
Right. Well, a lot of the AL championship gear stuff is on sale.
Right. You get that.
Because
I have an AL championship 2005 hoodie,
but I kind of like that almost better in a way because it it relives the anticipation of it all, just in seeing it,
Dude, are they making any caricature shirts?
Oh yes,
I love those, and
those
are
rings, great, dude.
Remember the shirts they would like specifically for the Bulls? They would always have Bull shirts with drawings of the rings, and
there were the Lotto ones, dude.
Oh yeah, they did. Yeah, they did Illinois lottery
shirts.
Really? I don't remember that.
There was
the first 3 championships.
Yep, they had a hypercolor one. Do you remember that? It was like Illinois lottery Bulls. Remember hypercolor shirts?
Yeah.
Like if you touched them, like they changed. I rocked one of those for a while.
I had the gray one, the first one, 91 championship caricature. That was I had like BJ Armstrong and Paxton.
Yes.
Right.
They need to bring back the caricature sports T-shirt.
Yes.
But dude, so they have a caricature KC World Series shirt already?
I've seen similar to that. Yeah. I'll dig up what I saw and I'll post it on
I want
the
artistry, not like pictures of players. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, big head.
Yeah, I believe I did see one, and I'll post it if I can find it.
I had the Canseco T-shirt in '89 with the big head Canseco.
Yes.
Yeah. It was after the 40-40, so he was like holding the base and.
I think at one time I might have had a Griffey one of those.
Yeah, I remember that, dude. I think you did. Yeah. You have a Sandberg one too?
I know I had a Sandberg one.
I had Bo Jackson on the White Sox as well.
Yeah. I think I had a Clemens one, of course.
Yeah. God bless the caricature T-shirt.
Yeah. No, I love it, man. So anybody, if you've got any
drawing talent,
submit your caricature T-shirts.
Caricature T-shirts, start posting them, folks.
Yes.
That's at Rock In. That's in as in November rain. Chew. Rock In Chew. On Instagram and Twitter. Post those there so we can see everybody's caricature T-shirts. I know somebody out there's got the Charles Barkley and Rick Mahorn butting heads, like yeah, like you know what I'm talking about.
I remember there was a Magic and Bird one of those.
Yeah. Do other sports as well. So any caricature shirts, post those. There's I need to look it up. There's got to be a good like caricature Tumblr. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, yeah. It's just one after the other match. Yeah. Anyway, God, I could go on all. If we could do it, we could do a caricature episode.
Probably. Yeah. We find the artists, dig up the artists, and
right.
I'm sure they're like at some state fairs.
The best ones are like kind of like
believe it or not, I had a set of cards.
What's that?
I had a set of cards that were like kind of cheaper back when they were printing out like millions. And they were called collectabooks.
The books. Yes.
Collectabooks.
Yes.
And on the back of every collectabook was a character. Sure.
Yes. Yeah. You're right.
I've got the Jerome Walton one.
Oh yeah. Shout out to collectabooks.
Yeah, dude.
Yes, absolutely.
Then,
I still have the box of collectabooks. It comes in a box like that.
Oh yeah.
And Score did something similar to the caricature. 90, 91, 92?
Yeah, right. I know what you're talking about.
I think I had a Conseco one of those.
Yeah.
So post those as well. Yeah, any caricature, anything that looks like it could be in Mad Magazine, like a Mort Drucker type looking drawing.
Usually the head is out of proportion from the body.
Oh yeah.
Exactly. So yeah, you should be able to find plenty of those. So yeah, post those please to Instagram or Twitter. So congrats again, man.
Thanks, man. Yeah, it's been a blast, and unfortunately though, the cold hard reality of the offseason is setting in as Alex Gordon opted out of his option for next year, and we gotta hope to re-sign him.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Yeah.
I knew he was going to be a free agent, but I didn't know about the most recent. Did he just opt out like within the last day or two? Or?
Yeah, it was a few days ago. It was expected that he was going to opt out. It was totally expected.
Yeah. Two years in a row, you know what I mean, of seasons like that, everybody wants a bigger check now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was he like 30, maybe 31?
Yeah, just about 30, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. He's a baller, man. He'll have plenty of suitors,
Uh-huh.
One of the best defensive outfielders in the American League as well.
Yeah, for the past 6 years.
Maybe the best left fielder in the American League, just defensively.
Yep. It should be a really good year for off seasons between the free agents and possible trades.
Oh yeah.
It should
It should be fun.
Yeah. The Cubs have a ton of leverage, dude. We'll talk about this in the next episode, but
next episode, yeah.
But for Levi going into the off season, dude, the Cubs look. I mean, you're in a really good position.
Supposedly we're not even talking to Fowler. That's how confident we are.
Yeah.
Wow.
Right.
I guess we're gonna just keep Austin Jackson.
Huh.
Okay, he's under contract for still. Okay.
Or we're gonna re-sign him. I don't know if we just had him signed for a year, but we had signed Austin Jackson kind of as like a Fowler insurance policy.
Right.
And he never really played.
Yeah. All right.
So it's kind of disappointing because I really liked him, but we'll talk about it on the next one.
Yeah, but no, I mean you've got so many trade chips if you wanted to take that route as opposed to signing anyone.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, no, it'll be a good off season. You're right there for you guys. Maybe not as much for me.
Well, just mean in the whole league. Greinke,
around
Greinke's going to have a bunch of suitors. You would think.
Yeah.
Oh
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And plus there's a lot of pitching. Even after Price and Greinke, it drops off a little bit. There's still a lot of mid-tier guys, mid-tier to upper mid-tier, that are going to be available as well, like Zimmerman. It's going to be a good offseason, definitely.
Yeah, Cespedes will be the first player to play on all 26 teams.
Right. Oh yeah. Cespedes is available. Hayward. Yeah, it'll be a good one, man. I look forward to talking about that one.
Oh, by the way, I should go ahead and concede now. I think at the beginning of the season we made an informal wager about who would get more MVP votes, Matt Kemp or Jason Hayward, and both of you guys took Hayward and I took Kemp. It was looking good early for me, but Hayward clearly won. So congratulations.
Well, and he's another guy. It'll be interesting to see who tries to throw money at him.
Right. Yeah, he played well, especially during the second half, and he's only like 25, I think, something like that.
Dude, I would love for the Cubs to throw money at him.
Oh,
get like more of like a Zimmerman or a less. Don't try and get like a Price or a Greinke as a pitcher.
Yeah.
Like get a little bit of a decent starter, but then try and get a Hayward as well, because the pitching didn't show up for us in the NLCS, but neither did the hitting.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it needs that. You could for what you could spend on Price, for like basically like half of what you could spend on Price, you can get like a decent fielder and a decent pitcher. You know, I mean, Price is going to get like $200 million.
Yeah. You don't need a Price. You already have that in either Lester or Arrieta anyway. So
I mean, Arrieta will regress a little bit, but I mean, just because what he did was so unprecedented and just.
Oh yeah, I mean,
but it looks like he's going to be a good pitcher from here on out.
Probably,
you know.
I like how I guess conditioned he is. He seems like he does like yoga and he works out all the time. Man. And he's
got his shit together.
Yeah, the guy's definitely an athlete.
Hope he doesn't get popped.
No, he's got that good clear shit.
Canseco's going to start naming names again.
Right.
Hey, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Any potential litigators.
So, also, I want to talk about some shows we've been to recently, because Get Some Good Acts came through Kansas City.
Oh. Dude, and this like totally ties in. So to get into some live shows that we've seen lately, like two of the Royals games, two of the World Series games, I had to go to shows, and both of them at the Record Bar, and both of them were standing in line, like listening on our phones to the play-by-play on the radio feed. And then when we get in there, the first show we saw was Diane Coffey with Of Montreal. And
did she open, or I'm sorry, Diane Coffey is a he.
Yes.
I keep forgetting
That's
that.
Okay. The drummer from Foxygen is Sean Fleming, and it's Sean Fleming's band.
Okay.
Is known as Diane Coffey, and it's like glam Motown is Motown glam is how they put it. So Diane Coffey opened, and I was mainly there for Diane Coffey, even though Of Montreal was going to be a trip, and I was looking forward to that too. But there was a lot of like looking over the shoulder, and the Record Bar has just like a really like a 27-inch CRT old television that you gotta really squint at to see, mounted up in the corner, and during the middle of one of the songs, the Royals tied it up, and my buddy like slaps me on the back to like indicate to me what happened, because I wasn't checking my phone. But then for Of Montreal, we went back, and that was the game that went extras. What was it, game 1 or game 2?
Game 1 was the one that was like 14 innings.
Right, so it was that one. Yeah, that didn't get over until past midnight, that we were back there watching Of Montreal and keeping an eye on the game. And it was totally surreal, because it was two totally incongruous things.
Right.
Like, don't get me wrong, there's a lot of shows where you can do both, but Of Montreal and that crowd, and it's kind of trippy up there what's going on.
I don't ever see Of Montreal playing at Kauffman Stadium.
No.
It would be cool if it did, but
but no, unfortunately, whenever the Royals won, it was in between songs, so there was a big huzzah in between songs, and not in the middle, awkwardly in the middle of a song.
Right.
And then we went back for Game 4. It was when we went to see Telekinesis and Say Hi, and on Halloween night, and so it was a lot of the same thing. And fortunately, that game concluded during the local opener, and the local opener had the game projected on a whole wall that they could see very easily. So they're all rocking out and like watching the game like just 6 feet away from them. And then the Royals won during their set. But Telekinesis and Say Hi were great. I'd highly recommend checking them out.
I don't know if I know Say Hi. I don't think I know.
Say Hi is interesting. He does it all. It's like one dude, and he does it all with some gadgets.
Okay.
And
so it's like an indie Keller Williams or something like that. Like
yeah. That's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun though, and Betsy and I dressed up. I dressed up like an astronaut. She dressed up like an alien for Halloween.
Right. Yeah, I saw the pictures.
Yeah, and we got a shout out during the show for dressing up, and we shared some astronaut ice cream that I had with me with the band. So
Nice.
it was a unique experience to be a part of the World Series and going to those shows at the same time. It definitely kind of adds a little bit more of a memory to it. So yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Oh cool. Yeah, very cool. Yeah, I got to see about a month ago. I didn't mention it on our last episode when we recorded. I got to see Ghost, who I don't know if anyone's if you haven't heard of Ghost or you're not familiar with them. It's a 6-man band, and they've got they're in costume. It's got sort of there's a storyline of like kind of there's a papal element, like there's the lead singer
there's
is
a
the
papal
evil
element.
There's the lead singer. It's like the Pope, but Papa Emeritus is his name, and this is the third singer. So they're doing a papal succession after from one pope to the next.
Have they been changing with the actual popes?
It's I think for the most part it's coincided. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Sounds like an Iron Maiden meets Genesis or something.
It's got that's the thing. It's got kind of a proggy element to it as well, and but it's also got it's kind of old school metal too. The musical chops back up. I just think the whole thing is it's really fun. It's really campy. It's got like an Alice Cooper kind of theatrical theatrical element to it. Like the five band members are like in the same outfits with these masks, and they're called like Nameless School 1, Nameless School 2, Nameless School 3. But yeah, musically it's really good, man. I mean, it's all that stuff we just mentioned. It's like a little bit of Maiden, a little bit of like King Diamond, a little bit of
there's a funk band.
I even hear like some Metal Church. Yeah, what's that?
There's a funk band called the Mummies that are kind of doing the same thing. Have you heard of them?
No, I haven't.
It's like a rotating crew of like session and studio musicians, and they wrap themselves up to look like mummies, so you can't tell who they are.
Sure.
And they play these like funk cornball songs like I want to get in your booty, da 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 da, gonna get in your booty, like all these weird like sexual innuendos, and
right?
Because of course,
yeah, right.
Because that's the music mummies would play, right?
Yeah, mummies would want to get down. But yeah, it's like the lyrics are campy in like a satanic way, but like in a really fun satanic, in a really fun satanic way. It's just like, he is our master, it's like, it's kind of operatic as well, but it's just, check them out, man. They were on Colbert last week.
Really?
So that was their American television debut.
Off to YouTube.
Check it. Yeah, it's on YouTube. They sounded great, and it was really fun too. So I saw them a month ago at the Riviera, and word's getting around. I mean, they sold out the Riv, which is like
wow.
Yeah.
The Riv holds I think close to 2,000 people. It's a old theater, got a balcony, fairly decent sized balcony. So they sold it out. So that was good for them.
So like fans in costume as well?
Not really. No, I didn't see. I think it happens. Like I subscribe to them on Instagram, and they'll post shots of the audience, and sometimes they'll be dressed up. But I didn't see anyone there. No. It was I don't know. It was a crowd of kind of just sort of. They had some younger folks there as well, because they've kind of got like a little bit of a goth kind of following a little bit. But yeah, it was a really good time. I highly recommend seeing them. It's one of the best. It's one of the most fun acts playing right now, I think.
Right on.
Yeah.
Cool.
They did a Ricky Harrison cover too, so
yeah,
it's cool. Yeah.
I was supposed to go and work a concert, Danzig and Superjoint Ritual.
Yeah.
And it was going to be a couple days before Halloween at the Boulder Theater. And just a few days before the show, I got a cancellation notice. And I guess Glenn Danzig, basically in the middle of the tour, has decided he's going to retire from touring. And the only thing I could find was a few days before this, he had gotten into an altercation with a fan in Montreal, I believe it was, and beat the fan up pretty good. Had like his security guys beat him up, and then he jumped into the crowd and like hit the guy as well. All because he was taking pictures of Glenn Danzig. I guess that Glenn Danzig is
has
like
Glenn like not
Native
performed
American.
in front of people like in the last like 8 years.
Right?
Everybody's taking pictures.
Right? So yeah, like Glenn Danzig, he blew my concert this month. I was gonna.
That's disappointing because I always assumed that Glenn Danzig was gonna be like a pretty mellow dude, you know, just because it would be incongruous to the demeanor.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think Canada messes around when you do something like that. I think they're going to hold you at the border, aren't they?
Yeah, probably something like that, right?
Yeah.
I would like to see Superjoint as well. That would have been.
I was really looking forward to it. Yeah.
Are they playing at least? Like
no, it was they canceled the whole show. The whole shebang got canceled.
Wow.
Bummer.
That's too bad.
Yeah.
It sucks, man. Well, anyway, tonight we're going to talk a little bit about seasonal music, so to speak.
It is the season. It's the season for seasonal music.
Yes.
But not that cheesy seasonal music.
Right. We're going to talk about sort of different albums that remind us of the seasons, or the ones that sound better during a certain season, fall, winter in particular, I think. Since starting to get a little chill in the air, guys, you know, I mean, it's getting colder out there. So that got us thinking about tunes. So for fall, which, God, we're already in the first or second week of November here. For fall, though, I was thinking about some of the albums that remind me of fall, and that was kind of the easiest one to evoke for me.
It is for me, too. Like, it's the most obvious. I associate the most albums with the fall and the winter.
Yeah, absolutely. For me, 3 Sinks and One Charm by the Black Crowes is my quintessential fall album. I think for a few reasons. For one, I heard it in the fall for the first time. Like, it came out in like the summer of '96, and I didn't really hear it.
July 23rd, '96.
I didn't hear it really in depthly until the following year. So like early fall of '97. I didn't hear it really until then. I'd heard Good Friday, you know, like I'd heard the single, but I hadn't heard the record start to finish because I had a Morica, but you know, I really, when I started to get into them was right when college began, and so I went over to a buddy's house and, you know, played it, and, you know, it was one of those quintessential like late September days, like leaves were like just starting to turn, a few of them falling.
The Yankees were sweeping somebody in the divisional series.
Yeah, 97. It was a Marlins year.
Marlins, yeah, right.
97. The Marlins beat the Yankees, I think, that year.
Did they beat them in 97 too? Because they beat them in 03.
Right. I think so.
Hold on. 1997.
Yeah, I think it was Yankees and the Marlins.
Indians. They beat the Indians.
Oh, they beat Cleveland. Okay.
Yes.
It might have been with Cleveland. Cleveland might have had Hershiser pitching still then.
Yeah.
But anyway. So, yeah, that album really, to me, like the opening chords to Bring On remind me of fall as well. And, you know, it's kind of dark in places too, you know, so it fits Halloween too.
Yeah.
You've got Evil Eye on there. You've got, and then some of the other songs are kind of moody, you know, like you've got Bring On and How Much for Your Wings. So yeah, there's a little bit of a dark undercurrent to some parts of it.
I agree. I think it is more fitting for fall.
Yeah.
Even though I associate it with summer because I remember I got it that summer, like right when it came out for some reason, and I was always driving around for work, and I would always have it playing.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, I kind of break out into a humid sweat just listening to the album still.
Sure.
After all this time, so even though it is more befitting to fall, it's for me, it's a summer album.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the one that really stands out to me. I got to thinking about the times I've seen the tunes live as well. Levi and I went to see the Crows on Halloween 10 years ago, 2005.
Yeah.
Where was
Good
that?
shows.
Yeah.
The Riviera.
Oh, it was.
Yeah,
oh.
Great.
Yeah, sold out basically, right? Both nights.
Both nights were, yeah. Yeah.
We ended up getting the instant lives of that.
Right.
Yeah.
Which technology didn't really last that long when people figured out, we can just put these online.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It was like people waiting in line for
Yeah, we waited in line for like over an hour.
Did you really?
Afterwards. Yeah.
Because they were pressing the CDs.
Yeah, they were like, I mean, they had a machine, don't get me wrong, that was pressing like 50 at a time or something. But still, there were a lot of people that wanted it.
It was epic shows. They were both really good.
They were great.
Who was the guitarist on those?
Mark Ford.
It was Mark. Okay.
Yeah. Those were great. But anyway, that album though, it sticks out to me for the fall. It was like, I was just starting college as well. I hadn't been at school for but a couple weeks, and it just captivated me, and it started pretty much my whole pattern of listening to music for like the next 3-4 years.
Pretty influential.
Crows. Yeah. So then bootlegs came and all of that. But that album, it reminds me of the fall, which is someone who's spent his whole life really around education too. Like, the fall is always like, hey, it's always a new school year or a new semester, So most people associate rebirth with the spring. For me, it's fall.
Yeah. I think there's kind of two forms of rebirth.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So 3 Snakes for me. And then also I was going to say, I can't really, I don't know, maybe I could do it during spring, but definitely not summer. For Nick Drake, like any Nick Drake record for me, like I closely associate with the winter or the fall. There's been a lot of instances of me drinking tea or coffee.
Oh yeah.
It's cold.
Good, like gloomy spring days.
Yeah. There has to be rain.
Yeah,
close,
definitely has to be rain. Yeah. Nick Drake is not like a sunshine.
No.
A sunny day by any means.
Though it's ironic because the Volkswagen commercial, it's like a bunch of kids with the top down, right, and the convertible, and they're cruising through the night. Yeah, it's real.
It's at night though, at least.
It is at night, but it's like California, and it's probably like 74
really nice.
degrees.
Yeah. That was the first time I ever heard Nick Drake.
Right. Yeah,
a lot
of people.
Yeah. Yeah, me too. I'd heard.
I think so. Yeah.
Rich mentioned him,
and then I'd heard Rich cite him several times in interviews.
Yep.
Yeah, so I didn't get into him until probably like about 99, 2000, maybe something like that, like junior year or senior year of college.
Yeah, at some point in college, like all colleges across America, like you enrolled and they just handed you the Nick Drake catalog.
Well, I was gonna say for a band that Levi mentioned tonight, for college for me starting, it was like everybody got issued Under the Table and Dreaming. Bob Marley's Legend.
Arrested Roots When I Woke.
Arrested Roots When I Woke. They like showed up and like they gave you these at the door. And then a band I'm gonna kick it to Levi now as well for Sublime 40 Hours of Freedom.
That or the self-titled,
or the self-titled one, I should say. Yeah,
it's just like those records epitomize summer.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I can't listen to Sublime in a snowstorm.
Right.
Yeah.
One of my favorite, probably all-time fall-winter records is "Go Ted Soup" by the Stones.
Yeah.
Right.
And I obviously there's a song called "Winter" on there, so that's kind of a giveaway, but just the whole tone of the album has that feel to it for me, and I would drive around and listen to it all the time in the fall and winter. Just all their songs on it to start with. Dancing with Mr. D, 100 Years Ago. Coming Down Again is like one of the best best fall type songs. Although it does have one of my least favorite Stones songs in Angie.
You don't like Angie?
Wow.
Well, it's just because
You've heard it a lot.
In Central Illinois, it's like it might as well be Fleetwood Mac because
Right.
it was like the only Stones song you would hear. It would seem like they would just play Angie or Satisfaction.
Yeah.
And so
the rest of that album is better.
Yeah. I try to save all my ballad listening for like 80s hair ballads.
Right. One of those, When the Children Cry by White Lion or something.
Yeah. Flight to the Angels, man.
Slaughter.
Yeah, Silver Train's on there. Hide Your Love.
Heartbreaker.
It's a great album.
Yeah.
Absolutely, man. No, I think it's an underrated one too in their catalog. It's I think most people like it, but like nobody's like, it gets overshadowed by Exile.
Yeah.
Or Sticky Fingers or any of that.
Yeah.
Those Let It Bleed that they had there, but yeah, it's a good one though, definitely.
Yeah, if we're gonna stay on fall, winter, for me, Alice in Chains is a pretty obvious choice because you can pretty much hear the Seattle rain in their music,
particularly on Jar of Flies.
Yeah, Jar of Flies, and for me especially Sap, which I think we would have some campouts back in the day, and we'd always be listening to Sap at the beginning of the school year.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh man, God, dude, the cameos on that album, Ann Wilson, Mark Arm, Cornell's on there, right? Everybody's on there. It's ridiculous.
Right. Anytime I put on Alice in Chains, my wife is like, "Oh no."
I just don't like it. Yeah.
I think Alice in Chains is definitely like our era's Rush. like there's not. I mean, there are girls into Rush and Alice in Chains.
They are few though.
But yeah, like it's the band I put on, and my wife's like, "Oh, I'm going in the other room."
Yes, there are those girls, but they're all spoken for adamantly by their male counterparts.
Yes. Like Rush? Like the guy immediately gets on one knee. He's like, and the men who hold high places.
Must be the ones who start.
Yeah. And for me though, a big one for me is the War on Drugs Slave Ambient album, and it's not. I guess I find the War on Drugs to be a very fall, autumn, spring band. Because of their sound, not because of the content. And I was thinking about like what makes it a seasonal band, or a seasonal album, I should say. And I think the sound, like we talked about, with like Evil Eye or whatever, or the content, like Winter from Goat's Head Soup, or the release date was another factor I thought about, which for me, Three Snakes, the release date, because I just listened to it like right after I got it, like repeatedly. But I think the last thing I could think of that would dictate a seasonal album is just like having a moment with it. And kind of like you said, Gabe, with Three Snakes, and that I had that moment with the War on Drugs, Slave Ambient. I would listen to it on the way to work, like driving into downtown, and it has, and the War on Drugs. It's a lot of like car songs that are really fit for driving.
Yeah, right.
And Come to the City, and so like, and specifically, I remember listening to it repeatedly in the autumn, cruising into work, into downtown, and just the crispness of the album and the air. And so the War on Drugs, Slave Ambient, and probably Lost in a Dream too is kind of more of a spring one for me, I think.
It came out in the spring.
Right. And so that'll probably make it.
Yeah, gosh, I don't have a close association with them in seasons yet. But I see what you're saying with the sound being autumnal.
Sure, yeah. And it's interesting though, because sometimes you lose an association with an album because, and like Slave Ambient, that thing did not leave my car CD player for the first 2 years I owned it. because I have most of my speakers in my 1999 Saturn sedan are blown out.
Whoa.
And so like only certain albums sound worth a shit in it. And for some reason, Slave Ambient like translates well, even though it's it's a bastardization of what it should sound like. And so if an album sounds good in the Saturn, I won't take it out.
Right.
And so I listened to it for a couple years in there.
Yeah.
But you have to be careful because if you listen to it all year round, a lot of albums, like for me, like a lot of Pearl Jam albums, I don't associate with any seasons because I would just listen to them year round. Mm-hmm. Have you guys found that with any of your favorites?
Somewhat.
But Three Snakes is probably in your top 5, right, Gabe? But you still associate it with Autumn.
I do.
Yeah. So even though you've listened to it thousands of times, that hasn't worn off, which is pretty impressive.
Still goes on. Yeah.
I mean, another one that I tend to listen to it more in the fall and winter was, I mean, this might lose me some fans, I guess, but it was Coldplay, Russia Blood to the Head. And I bought that. I think it came out, here, I can find out. Came out in the end of August in 2002. So, and I was probably about a month behind at least in buying it at Best Buy, when I still went into physical brick and mortar stores and bought CDs. Yeah. And I drove around with that CD for about all fall and winter, and that's a CD that I can't really listen to it without thinking of fall or winter.
Yeah. I can appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely. I won't tell anyone you like Coldplay, Levi.
Hey, I'll be honest. My fanfare for them pretty much starts and stops with that record.
Yeah, no.
Do you have any bands like that where like you kind of got into them, but it was just for like an album?
Oh boy, that's like a whole nother episode potentially.
It could be, yeah.
Yeah, that could be. Like really respectable
they're
one-offs.
Definitely that band, and it's that album for me.
Yeah.
I like that album so much that when they finally re-released it on vinyl for the first time, here it was like a year or two ago, I bought it just because I liked it that much.
Yeah. Hey, Pete Townsend said that he wished he would have written all those songs.
It really is if you're into songwriting, and that's when I was trying to write my own songs. So I was. Like, I just connected with – you connect with a group of songs sometimes, and you don't really know why. Yeah. But looking back, I think it's because of the quality of the songwriting on that record. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Gabe, do you have any winter ones? Because I do have a winter one if we're going to move on from winter.
Gosh. Do I have one for winter? Nothing strong, man. It's mainly been for the fall and the spring for me. A little bit of summer, though. I should say the first Boston record. I listened to that. I was cruising around one day when it was had to been like 100 degrees almost. It was a really hot day, summer in high school, and all of those songs translate really well to summer. Smoking, rock and roll band,
Foreplay Long Time,
Foreplay Long Time, Hitch a Ride, yeah. So I've got a very good memory of.
What car were you driving then?
Black Escort. Yeah,
nice.
Yeah, it was a Black Escort, 97 or 90. Well, no, God no, it was like 87 Escort.
Yeah, it was like an 87 or 89, right?
Yeah, I think it was 87 because 89 the body changed a little bit. Yeah. It was still the older looking body.
That was the Aerostar was first though, right?
Aerostar was brief, but it was first. Yeah, 86 Aerostar was the first vehicle.
Parents bought you a shaggin' wagon, and then
I wish
second thoughts
I still had it, dude. Oh, are you kidding me? Yeah, I had the Zeppelin sticker on it, had the Kiss sticker on it. Yeah,
dude, I remember pulling up and get the Magic Bus license plate.
Oh, dude. Yeah. In the days of my. All right. Anyway.
Magic Bus.
Oh man.
So I've got a very strong association with summer and that first Boston record, which sounds really good. Like Foreplay Long Time. Like I don't see how you could listen to it during any other season.
Yeah. So are there records that you won't listen to in addition to that during any other season?
I don't think so. I don't know if I would like just say like, no, I can't listen to that in the summer, even though I associate it with the fall.
But you probably do it without even thinking about it.
Yeah, subconsciously, I'm sure it happens.
But this leads us totally into the bonus round perfectly, and that is, there are definitely songs I won't listen to during the daytime.
Exactly. That's what I was about to say, dude. Yeah. Some albums are just for night.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And I've never thought of it that way.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. So like, tell me, like what?
Well, first obvious song, Midnight Rider. You can't listen to Midnight Rider at 9 a.m.
Right.
On the way to work.
Right.
I mean, they played all the time during the day, but I used to really associate Reelin' in the Years as a nighttime, because I would
heard it at a lot of bars.
I would drive around in the middle of the night listening to Reelin' in the Years out in the cornfields.
Yeah. Some of that. Gosh. For me, I rarely listen to the War on Drugs during the day.
Huh. All right.
Yeah, they're more of a little bit at work with Lost in a Dream, just because like it came out during the streaming era, you know. So, when their other records I had bought, but yeah, I can't really listen to them at during the daytime. And then I don't know if you guys have heard him. There's this guy named A.A. Bondi is the name he plays under. His album from a few years ago, like 03 or 04, or no, I'm sorry. His most recent record, the one right before that, is really one of the better nighttime records I've heard in quite a while. So yeah, A.A. Bondi, check out.
Yeah.
Right.
But yeah, and so yeah, there's some others as well, some classic rock too. You know,
I was one of the ones that I also thought of was a song called "Happy Friends" by the Grey Boy All Stars, featuring Carl Denson on saxophone.
Mm-hmm.
I absolutely have to listen to that song at nighttime. It's definitely not a song I can listen to during the day to get into the mood, to the feel of the song at least.
Right.
Another one is "Nightlife" by Ray Price, classic Willie Nelson written song.
Yeah, I mean, some of it has to do with bars, some of it has to do with going out, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's just and some of them are mood, you know, like that A.A. Bondi is totally mood. It's nothing going out.
Yeah.
Actually, probably being a record, you've put it on at a bar. I don't know how everyone would react, but yeah. So yeah, it doesn't have to be, you know, about a party, so to speak, at night. It could definitely be more about mood and ambience and.
You know, I guess I just don't listen to that much music at night, I don't think.
Yeah.
I listen to most of my music during the day because I can. I work a job where I can do that easily. So
yeah.
That's the difference, I guess.
The music that I really listen to, that I really enjoy listening to, I listen to in the evening when I've got kind of some time to really plug into it, you know. Yeah. That's why, like I've said before on the podcast, if you were to look at my RDO stream, when I play every day, while I like it all, it's mainly like chill wave and jazz and, you know, just because it's working music to me. Not that it's not good music, it's all great, but so.
To get real quick, for me in the winter, Soundgarden's King Animal, which is their most recent album, is released just a few years ago.
It has a winter on the cover.
Yeah, it is like totally like they embraced. So that's interesting because it came out probably in the winter. And they like embraced that idea. It came out in November 2012. And so they embraced that with the cover and the video for it. And then the tour, we drove up to Minneapolis to see them. So it was really fucking cold up there.
Right.
I bet,
yeah, that tour too was
but that was part of it.
February, right?
Yeah, that was it was we were in Minneapolis in fucking February, and it was awesome because it was so obscene with the whole winter aesthetic. Yeah. And I wouldn't have had it any other way.
Nice.
But Minneapolis is cool because they have, even though we didn't utilize them a ton, but they have a bunch of skywalks that let you walk through downtown without actually going outside. You can walk from building to building.
With 9 months of winter.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Speaking of Minneapolis, I have to throw this in. There's a really good story. I can't remember what website it was on, but if one of the news type of entertainment websites, and it was about Minneapolis when they had the All-Star game there in the mid-90s. I guess Prince threw like the biggest party ever, nice. And he had like every All-Star there, and like the coaches, and like just like every celebrity that was anybody was at this party.
Why don't you bathe yourselves in the waters of Lake Minnetonka?
Yeah, dude, I guess it was epic. So you'll have to go online and
Charlie Murphy.
Prince, I guess you could.
Juan Gonzalez got fucked up.
Right? Prince NBA All-Star Game Party, I guess, will get you there if you search.
Nice.
Oh, did you say NBA?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you said MLB. Okay.
Oh, no, sorry, NBA. Okay.
Yeah, it was the NBA.
Juan Gonzalez was probably not there then.
Yeah, no. He was a huge basketball head.
Big assist guy, that Juan Gonzalez.
He is a baller, right? Like Prince plays, right?
Yeah. Well, according to Chappelle,
right.
According to Charlie Murphy.
So, I guess like when they had the All-Star game there, he was just like hyped out and just yeah,
that dude would throw a bitch.
I'm trying to think who the hell the coach was. One of the coaches said it was like the craziest party he'd ever been to. Dude, and the next day was the game or the next night, and I guess people were still like just hungover and like
it was still like 130 to 125 when the game was over.
Right,
so
right.
Nobody played defense.
Yeah,
and they wouldn't have if they weren't hungover.
I thought of one more song that I absolutely have to hear at nighttime, and it's Europe 72 Grateful Dead, and that's Walk Me Out in the Morning Dew.
Even though it's talking about the morning.
I know. Right? Contradiction, right? But yeah, I gotta hear that song at nighttime. I can't listen to that during the day.
You know what that reminds me? We'd have an alarm clock with a CD player, and like a lot of people do or did, and we would wake up to a lot of Belle and Sebastian. Okay. And so now whenever we hear like The Boy with the Arab Strap, every time we hear it, we think, oh, we got to get up, and it's like, oh, by this song, you slept in and now you really need to get up. Right. And so I definitely have morning songs. I just don't have any evening songs.
Nice.
Yeah, definitely. I don't mind metal in the morning sometimes, I got to be honest.
Get you going,
right? If it's a wintry day and I'm driving, because as I mentioned before, I have a very long commute. I do like Black Sabbath, Heaven and Hell in the winter. With Children of the Sea, in the misty morning. So it seems like, I get outside, like my breath, like, Neon Nights, dude, as an opener, like just driving down the road. Anyway, so add Heaven and Hell to my winter albums. When you asked, it took me a second to get that one, but definitely Heaven and Hell.
I used to go to sleep too. When I got my first CD player, and I just had like 3 or 4 CDs, I would go to sleep to Alice in Chains' Dirt.
Wow.
Which is a little extreme. Like,
it's a little intense.
There would be concern for a lot of 15-year-olds out there.
Time to relax.
Nowadays, parents would probably get their kids a therapist if they knew that happened.
Right.
Yeah. And in hindsight, it was probably a little intense.
There was a period where I would go to sleep to Eyes of the World off the Grateful Dead Without a Net, which is the CD where Branford Marsalis would play with them.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I would go to sleep to that song for like months straight.
Yeah, Without a Net's an album I could fall, or a double live I could fall asleep to, ending it with that slower Dear Mr. Fantasy.
Do you guys still go to sleep to music?
I don't. No,
not anymore. No,
neither do I.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder. It just like one day you don't do it and then you stop doing it.
I think now I would think about it too much. Like I would listen to it too much.
I passed out with my headphones on recently, like for the first time in a while. It's just like on the couch, and like I think I was watching like an NBA game, and I didn't really want the commentary, so I just put in some music and was doing some shit on the computer. So I passed out, and I don't know if like the music informed my dreams or whatever, but it was weird. It was weird to wake up and still hear music.
Right? Did you ever have those like end of Days of Confused moments? You know, when he like stumbles home and he puts on the cans, and he passes out. Like,
there's 6 been a few of those.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, definitely. But well, good times, man. Yeah. So, if you've got any albums or songs that remind you of certain seasons or just anything,
or recommendations for like setting the season,
times of day,
absolutely, yeah. But this thing has playlists written all over it.
Yes,
this topic. So go ahead and make them, please. You can follow us at Rock in Chew. That's in as in, I'm just gonna say it again, November Rain. We're in November now. So anyway, I want to get to that point in the show where we share our recommendations here. This is where we kind of share with you some albums we've been digging lately.
This is the Royals bullpen commemorative edition of the bullpen session. The Herrera Hochevar Wade Davis commemorative edition.
Right. So Levi, why don't we start out with you, man? What do you want to share with us?
This week I'm going to share and recommend an album that I picked up at a yard sale that I'd actually been looking for. So it was kind of a shock when it's an album that you have kind of on your want list and you see it at a yard sale.
Right.
And that is Al DiMeola, John McLaughlin, and Paco de Lucia. And it's called Friday Night in San Francisco.
Nice.
And
that's great.
Basically,
record.
It's like 3 of the best guitar players ever
of
all time together. And so, yeah, it's just monstrous. It makes me want to sell off all my musical equipment.
Yeah, that's a pretty awesome record. I listened to that a lot, and at the same time, and it reminded me the Charles Mingus and I forgot to bring this up. When I got married several years ago, I listened to Mingus's the whole week that I got married. Every time I had to run to the airport to pick up somebody, I would listen to it just repeatedly because I knew then I would associate that with the week that I got married. And so, like, I created the memory. It wasn't an accident. Like, I did it on purpose. And so now every time I listen to that album, I'm reminded of that week.
I've heard that album in your car, dude. Yeah.
Yes.
When I came into town for your wedding. I think that's what was on.
Yes. That's all I played that whole week in the car. So sorry. That was
aside. Awesome.
Another association with it. Yeah.
Yeah. But the album I'm going to recommend is a totally autumnal album by a totally seasonal band called the Clientele. In particular, Bonfires on the Heath. Is this record from 2009, and obviously just by the name alone it is autumnal, and the Clientele is a pretty lo-fi, chill indie band, kind of shoegazing band, but they have another album called God Save the Clientele, which is a very spring album, but if you want to get into the autumn, Bonfires on the Heath by the Clientele.
Nice. Very nice. Mine, I don't think I necessarily have, it would definitely be nighttime stuff. So yeah, I've got that. This is a nighttime record, but it's more up tempo. And it's a guy that sort of really, I think, along with a few other bands, people associate really with the 80s when, like a sound just that could only exist in the 80s. But as I've been listening to more of it, I think there's kind of like an ominous undertone to some of the stuff. I'm going to recommend the second album from Tubeway Army, the second and final album, really, Replicas. I've always had a soft spot for Gary Newman. I dig what the dude tried to do. It was kind of like he took sort of like what Kraftwerk was doing and like made it like sort of more accessible, took like what Kraftwerk was doing and like made it into like pop songs that people could digest.
Cars is classic, man.
Yeah, absolutely. But I mean, the stuff even before that with Tubeway Army, some of it, Our Friends Electric, is a great number as well. So yeah, and it was on Baker's Banquet. So yeah, the replicas and then the first Tubeway Army. Yeah, and then like Levi said with Cars, which I think was that on the Pleasure Principle? I think
it was.
Yeah, right. I love the aesthetics too, man. I mean, like, that could come out like dude's got the thin cut suit always on,
slicked
hair, like really nice looking font, on all the albums. Yeah, from a design perspective and just an aesthetics, it was, it's just kind of this metro kind of. It's just it's
all 80s.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm totally unfamiliar. I'm gonna have to check it out.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I'm sure you would recognize Cars. When you
Cars, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Here in my car,
right? Yeah. But the whole record, man, is all of his early stuff. The Tubeway Army records, and then Pleasure Principle as well is great. All in a very short span. Actually, all those albums that we just mentioned came out in the 70s still, but it was like 78, 79.
Yeah.
But yeah, he set the tone for that era. So. Yeah, Replicas by Tubeway Army. Their second one really is the one I like the most. But
cool.
Yeah, reconsider Gary Newman, I guess is what I'm trying to say here. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Reconsider Gary Newman 2016.
Yes, that's right. So you can follow us on Instagram and Twitter at RockinChew, and that's in as in Newman. And you can find out everything really about Rock and Roll Shin-Soo Chew, all of the previous episodes, different references that we've made on the show, links to albums and videos at rockchew.com. That's Rock Chew. Like us on Facebook, tell all your friends, and we will be talking about the off season quite a bit. So even though the season is over, a lot of fun stuff still going to be coming up this off season. So anyway, guys, have a good evening. And I will talk to you all soon.
Hola.
Peace.
All right. Take her easy.
Later.